Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I will be taking you through my Kcse prediction in grammar. Grammar is normally tested in paper 2 and it accounts for 15 out of the 80 marks in this paper. I have sampled some of the questions that I predict for this year's Kcse 2022. Before we delve deep into today's study, I would like to ask those who are new here to kindly hit onto that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that anytime we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. Again, to our subscribers, thank you very much. Now, fast forward to the first question. The instruction is that candidates are expected to rewrite the sentences according to the instructions given after each. And the first question, question A, addiction can happen with things like tobacco and alcohol. It can also happen with drugs. The candidate is expected to begin a sentence with not only. That means the same thing. So what we must know here is that what is being tested on is correlative conjunctions, and correlative conjunctions normally exist in pairs. Again, when we use not only, it means that the other part of the pair will be but also. When not only begins or comes at the beginning of a sentence, then it is followed by a verb, preferably an auxiliary verb, then followed by the subject, and then that is when the rest of the sentence follows. There is always a confusion where most candidates normally follow the subject immediately after not only. So the answer we have, not only can addiction happen with things like tobacco and alcohol, but it can also happen with drugs. Number 2, or the second question, if you invite him, he will come to the party, and you are expected to rewrite using unless. So that question tests on conditional clauses. And when unless comes at the beginning of a conditional clause, it suggests negativity. And for that matter, the main clause that exists with the conditional clause, which is subordinate to the main clause, will be negative. We will have a note there. For example, we have the answer there. Unless you invite him, he will not come to the party. When we use unless, then it means that the main clause, that is, he will come to the party, will be negated. So it will be, he will not come to the party. And remember, when the conditional clause, that is, unless you invite him, comes at the beginning, there will be a comma separating the conditional clause from the main clause, because conditional clause is considered as a subordinate clause. Another way of writing that answer, we would begin with the main clause. In that event, we are not going to place a comma to separate the subordinate clause and the main clause. Subordinate clause in this case is the conditional clause. So we can also have, he will not come to the party unless you invite him. So in that case, there is no comma separating the conditional clause. Unless you invite him from the main clause, he will not come to the party. Part C, we have, I have fought a hard fight these 3 days. Nora declared. The candidate is expected to change that into indirect or reported speech. In changing a sentence into indirect speech or reported speech, what a candidate must remember is that when we talk about direct speech, there are two parts. And the first part is the direct quotation. Here is where we have the actual words spoken by the speaker, then we have the explanatory words. In this case, I have fought a hard fight these 3 days is the direct quotation. These are the actual words that came out of Nora's mouth. Then Nora declared is the explanatory words. So the best way to change it into indirect speech is by beginning your reported speech using the explanatory words. So you will write, Nora declared that, in most cases, that will introduce the reported speech. So Nora declared that. So the tense of the various verbs within the direct quotation is going to be guided by the tense of the verb that we have at the explanatory words, and it is declared. The verb there is declared, which is in past tense. So that shows that the report will be given in the past tense. So a verb that exists in the direct quotation, like have, will change into its past, which is had. Then you are now reporting on Nora. Now the pronoun I is also going to change to she, and these 3 days will now change to those 3 days, because we are reporting what happened in the past. So we will have the answer as Nora declared that she had fought a hard fight those 3 days. Remember always to start your answers with a capital letter and end using a full stop. Your answer may be correct, but if the punctuation rules are not followed, then you miss out on the marks. The second question, fill in the gaps in the following sentences with the correct forms of the words in brackets. Number 1, she was sacked due to chronic dash absent. So these tests on derivation of adjectives, derivations of nouns. Maybe you've been given an adjective, you are required to derive it into a noun, like the first case there. So the question tests on how you can derive the noun from the adjective absent, and the noun from the adjective absent is absenteeism. So you must also check on the spelling, like absent, after absent there is W-E-I-S-M. That is the correct spelling for absenteeism. Number 2, victims of drug abuse become social dash, then in bracket fit. So the question is testing if we know the name with which we refer to as those who are unable to fit in our society. And in this case, those who cannot fit in a society are what we call misfits. So victims of drug abuse become social misfits. And you must remember that we are talking about the plural. We were talking about victims. So you cannot say misfit. Maybe if it was a victim of drug abuse become a social misfit. But now, because it is in plural, it goes without saying that our answer must also be given in plural. Number 3, the sentence needs to be dash in order to make sense. In bracket, ambiguous. So for a sentence not to make sense, it needs to be made ambiguous. And making a sentence ambiguous, we say you have ambiguated the sentence. Now, for us to make it make sense, It is as if we are removing the ambiguity. And a word that we can use there is that when we are removing ambiguity, we are disambiguating the sentence. So in this case, the sentence needs to be disambiguated in order to make sense. Question 3, fill in the blanks with the most appropriate prepositions. And number 1, the candidates are very good dash languages. So the most appropriate preposition we place there is that the candidates are very good at languages. Number 2, give us details dash your causes. So the most appropriate preposition, give us details about your causes. Number 3, the police wanted proof dash their explanation. So the police wanted proof of their explanation. Number 4, his performance was amazing dash any standards. His performance was amazing by any standards. Question D, explain the difference between the sentences in the following pairs. The first pair, number 1, he stopped drinking. The second one, he stopped to drink. So in the first case, where we have he stopped drinking, it means that this person under discussion had the habit of maybe taking alcohol and finally stopped. In the second sentence, the person is a drunkard. The person takes alcohol, and maybe the person was traveling to a place, but then he made a stop there so that he can have a drink. That is the difference between the sentences in the first pair. The second pair, we have he trained continuously and he trained continually. The first one, he trained continuously, means that the rain rained for a given duration of time without stopping. Maybe the rain began at 7 a.m. in the morning and stopped at noon. Or during this duration, it did not stop. It went on all the way. Then the second one, it rained continually, means that it rained in intervals. Maybe the rain started raining at 7 a.m., went up to 8 a.m., took a break, then started again at 9 to 11. So the rain rained at intervals. So the second one, there is intervals or interludes between the rain. The first one, it rained without stopping. The other one stopped the habit of drinking. And the second one, maybe this person made a stop so that they can drink. The last number, complete the following idiomatic expression using the correct word. And here we have, do not take him seriously. He's just pulling your dash. So if you are not to take someone seriously because they are joking or they are taking you for a ride, then we say such a person is pulling your leg. I hope this helps. Thank you very much. Let us meet next time.